and welcome to episode 27 of the Statesmanship Project. In this episode, I want to discuss a vision of what could be. My wife sent me a video yesterday, and it was discussing how we should not give energy to the problems of the current society, instead focus our energy on what could be. And I like this sentiment very much. It's something in line with what I've been trying to do here. So what I want to discuss is a new economic financial system, possibly, how things could be. So let's start out. You get married. You get a $100,000 loan from the government to buy a house. This house is either built to the highest of current standards or updated to the highest of current standards for you. It's included in this loan. And it has at least 1/4 of an acre of land and a garden so that you can provide food for yourself and your family. Now, this loan is issued to you interest-free. Minimum requirement for payback is 1 week of whatever your salary is per month, or the rough equivalent, and the maximum amount of payback is 1% of the loan. So 1% of the loan interest-free, in 100 months, you would have it paid off. This is more than three times faster than a current 30-year mortgage, and there's no interest attached to it. So after 100 months, you would own your house and your land outright. Another thing you get upon getting married is a $50,000 loan from the government, interest-free. And that loan is used so that you can set yourself and your family up with things that you will need. So furniture for your house, other furnishings that you might need. Maybe you need a new refrigerator or a new dishwasher. You can get that with this loan. And again, this loan is issued interest-free. There's no usury associated with it whatsoever. Maximum payback amount is 1% of the loan per month. Minimum payback amount is probably the equivalent of less than 1 week's salary. You would be making enough money so that your wife doesn't have to work, or if you're a woman listening to this, so that you don't have to work and your husband is the sole breadwinner for the family, if you want to think of it that way. That way one person is always home and able to take care of the home, because the family is the smallest unit in a society. And a society can only function when families function well. And economics is nothing more than good home management expanded to the larger family, which is your nation. And again, in America, we don't really understand this concept because we don't know what a nation is. But I digress, because we're focusing on what could be. Now, you have $150,000 worth of debt, but this debt is interest-free. It is credit issued to you based off of future productivity. And upon repayment of this credit, the currency that was created is eliminated, so there's no inflation. And you own the things that were purchased with this credit. So now you are the beneficiary of all of the consumer surplus associated with those goods. So in less than 15 years, you would own a house and have it fully furnished outright. And anything else you do is a benefit to you. You don't owe debt to anything else. Again, let me backtrack. That $50,000 loan to set up your household could also be used to purchase 1 or 2 vehicles if that's what you needed. Moving forward, you have a child. 25% of each loan is forgiven. Not 25% of the outstanding balance, but 25% of the total balance. So, if you get married and you have a $100,000 loan on the house and you don't have a child for 3 years, when you have your first child, $25,000 is forgiven off of the loan, regardless of what the outstanding balance is. So it's not 25% of the outstanding balance, it is a full 25% of the original issue amount. The same is true for the $50,000 loan that you were given as a home development grant, if you want to think of it that way. This is also forgiven. And so if you have 4 children, well, you're completely debt-free. And this could be inside of 8 years. And now, all of your productivity goes to serve the benefit and well-being of your family. You don't owe any debt to anyone at this point, assuming you didn't take on additional loans for anything else. And regardless, usury is forbidden. There's no interest on any debt. And so paying back whatever debt is issued to you benefits you in the long run because you still maintain that consumer surplus. Usury takes away any and all consumer surplus from the advancement of credit. So for example, if you want to start a business and you project that in 3 years it's going to be making $1 million, so you need $300,000 right now to start the business. And so for the first year you break even, second year you start to make a little bit of profit, and then the third year you make a full $1 million. Well, even if you waited until the third year to fully repay off that loan of $300,000, you still have $700,000 of profit. However, with interest, you would probably have to pay $200,000 to $300,000 of interest on that loan, depending on how the usury accrues. And this, of course, absorbs all of the producer surplus that you would have generated and all of the consumer surplus that anyone else would have generated from purchasing whatever product you were producing for your business. That's the purpose of usury. It is designed to impoverish the borrower. People say that credit in general is bad. Well, no, there's a lot of things that we need off of credit. If your sole source of value is precious metals, even if you find a huge mine of precious metals within the land, there's no way to get that out without having an advance on the labor that is necessary in order to pay for the labor that is necessary to extract that resource from the ground. And of course, once that advance is paid off and the business is profitable, then all of the additional benefit goes to the workers, to the company, and to the community, to the nation, for which the goods are provided. Now imagine this across the entirety of your nation. This can be done. This has been done. And it doesn't require a large stockpile of precious metals, because the true source of wealth is human labor. So if you have a population of people within a nation that are willing to work, and this is the whole idea behind the Benedictine order and the Benedictine rule, is that labor is the source of all value. And if you are willing to work, to produce, mix your labor with material, you will benefit yourself and all of society. And in doing this, we are all better off. Nobody needs to be selfish in the way that it degrades other people. We do all have individual and unique ends that need to be satisfied, because we are all unique persons. But we also share a common nature, a common human nature with our fellow men. And so we have to work in a way that fulfills both our personal needs and our personal ends, as well as the ends of our society. And this is what it would mean to live in a truly benevolent and truly Christian society. The government is there to facilitate the well-being of the people, and the men and women that work for said government are there specifically at the service of the people. And if they aren't willing to work for that, then they are dismissed. If the government gets to the point where it is destructive towards the ends of the nation, it is also abolished or restructured. And we, the sovereigns, cannot be afraid to reach out and to make those changes. And when a government becomes destructive to those ends, we must take it upon ourselves to institute new governments, new institutions designed to serve us. Because that's what it's there for. It is there to facilitate the ends that help man reach his ultimate end, which is heaven. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And remember to focus your energy on the positives, on what we want out of this life, and how we get to our ultimate end, which is in heaven, and not the problems of this world. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, have a good day.